Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 269. Welcome again to the latest Business Finance Bulletin. With me, Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services, the commercial finance experts. In this bulletin, survey reveals more businesses borrowing, but is it for the right reason? Government establishes Business Finance Council to support SMEs access finance, and ESME Loans increases maximum loan amount. Let's start this bulletin by taking a look at the latest survey carried out by the SME Finance Monitor team. Now, there's an independent body who every quarter talk to approximately 4,500 business owners about their dealings with banks and experiences in raising finance. Now, the latest report for quarter 2 2019 makes, as ever, interesting reading. So let's look at one aspect of the report that I've not focused on before, mainly because the statistics behind it weren't particularly relevant. However, there's been a seismic shift, and this is looking at business owners who are using external finance. Typically, since 2015, about 34 to 36% of businesses say they've been using external finance, and that's been quite steady since 2015. However, in the second half of 2019, that figure jumped up to 46% of business owners saying they use external finance. That's a very significant jump. So what's driving this? Well, it could be one of two things. First of all, business owners are now borrowing in order to invest, or they're borrowing in order to supplement cash flow. And I think you probably can guess which one I think it is. I think it's the latter, which business owners are clearly beginning to feel the pinch based on what we see as regards managing cash flow. Certainly of the applications for finance support that we're receiving at Business Owned Services, the vast majority are now all about cash flow support as opposed to business investment. Turning now to growth, well, it seems that 19% of business owners said that they are experiencing a decline in business, and again there's been a shift there. In the early part of the decade, about 10% of business owners on average saying they were seeing a decline in business. But as I said, that's now jumped up to 19%. However, one good thing, looking ahead, confidence levels are there because 50% of business owners say they are planning to grow in the future. So what are these barriers to growth and barriers to finance generally? Well, the barriers to growth, perhaps not surprisingly, political uncertainty, next, economic uncertainty, and finally, red tape and legislation. These are all the things that business owners are battling against. So as we can see, as ever, interesting times, and who knows what the rest of 2019 is going to bring. Well, as we record this bulletin, as we all know, the UK is gearing up for Brexit. 31st of October is looming, and the government seems to be really ramping up the preparation, particularly when it comes to supporting small businesses in accessing finance. The government, a week or two ago, pulled together various banking heads, government officials, put them into a room and reminded the banking heads in particular that the government is there to support small businesses when it comes to access to finance. They reminded the banks, for example, that the government, under its Enterprise Finance Guarantee Scheme, has headroom of £300 million to support small businesses. Now, the Enterprise Finance Guarantee Scheme is a scheme whereby the government essentially provides a guarantee to the lender of up to 75% of the balance of the loan. This is where perhaps the bank may have said yes if security had been available, but there was no security available, so the bank said no. That's where the government steps in under the Enterprise Finance Guarantee Scheme. So, government reminding banks, use it. We've got money sat there. In this roundtable session, they also reminded banks as well that they've got about £1 billion worth of guarantee support available under the British Business Bank Enable programme. This is whereby, again, the banks will provide guarantees in order to bolster the regulatory capital so banks can on-lend to small businesses. So again, more money available available there. Now, the government has also established the Business Finance Council. So what they're going to be doing, every month or so, they're going to be gathering all the banking chiefs together, all the heads of the alternative lenders, to make sure that everyone understands what the barriers to accessing finance are. The government clearly doesn't want any scare stories about small businesses saying that they can't access finance post-Brexit. So good to see that some action's being taken, perhaps a little bit late, but at least the government's really out there trying to make sure that small businesses will have access to finance should we fall off a cliff at the end of October 2019. Continuing the theme of access to finance, good news from ESME Loans, or ESME Loans. Well, I think that's how you pronounce it. Now, ESME Loans is owned by NatWest, and it's an unsecured business loan provider. Now, the good news is that since they've been going over the last 2 or 3 years, they've slowly been increasing the maximum loan amount that they will lend to any one individual business. And the announcement is that they've increased that limit further. So previously, the maximum was £150,000 loan, but now it's gone up to £250,000. So what are the general terms? Well, the loan term, you can borrow anything from 1 year up to 5 years. The interest rate, well, that depends on how creditworthy you are. For the most creditworthy of applications, the interest rate is 3.24%, and it works all the way up to probably the poorer creditworthy businesses who would be paying 22.2%. So you can see a big variance there. So they say, although it's an unsecured business loan, if you're a business, you will have to provide a personal guarantee as director. So a really good product there. So if you want to know more, I'll just go along to the ESME Loans website, which is esmeloans.com, and there you find all the information on how you can apply. Well, that's it for another bulletin. As ever, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a like and a share. So that's it. Look forward to being with you next time. In the meantime, have a great, successful and profitable week.